ここは
どんな客人も歓迎いたしますよ。私はヘドン。この塔の管理人。
Hey everybody, welcome back to the podcast. Another episode of Tower of God coming at you. And before we start this episode, thought we'd bring it up, man. I saw it on the subreddits. Gerry looked at it on the latest chapter of the webtoons. If you guys don't know, on webtoon you can pay some coins on there, and you could read 3 chapters that are ahead of what's for free. And on the one that came out this week that you have to pay, one SIU said that the series is going on hiatus now due to health reasons, and he's not sure when he'll be able to come back to work on the series. And he's very sorry that he has to take a break during this crucial time during the arc right now in the manhwa. And it sucks to hear, man. Really hoping he gets better.
I hope it's not serious, man. I really hope it's not that crazy, because, I mean, we've all known some mangas that have, like, D. Greyman, for example, that have been stuck in this unfortunate realm just because their artist, author, creator has not been doing well health-wise. So, you know, hope SIU gets through this pretty quickly, not just for content-wise, but, you know, hopefully it's just not that bad.
Yeah, guys, send him your Shinsu.
A lot of people don't like to talk about it. Gerry, you shared a post the other day in our group chat about how mangakas, and I'm pretty sure manhwa writers as well, their schedule is ridiculous, right? They have to stay on a consistent weekly basis, and they're usually in the manga world, they're ahead by like 3 chapters, and they have to write out different branches just to see what the audience reaction is, so that way they could, like, okay, we're gonna go with this one for sure, and then work on that one. So they got to think about all that. They're spending, all day wherever they work at to, draw ink, shade, backgrounds, effects, and the editors are there too to help. And we do know SIU has editors because he's over there at Webtoons now. But I'm pretty sure it's the same crazy schedule over there too. And also it's in color, so that adds a whole nother thing. Yeah, pretty crazy, man. Hope he gets better. What does that mean for the show here? We're going off the free chapters for the manhwa, so we will have the chapters up until the end of the anime, and then from there we'll move on to a different segment that we'll talk about at a later time. That's pretty much all the big news right now for Tower of God. Just again, hope you're getting better, SIU. So, without further ado, man, let's go ahead and get into the anime here. Season 1, Episode 11, The Underwater Hunt, Part 1. I think this is my favorite episode now, so far.
Yeah, dude, I really want to say that this is what I've been waiting for this whole season, man. Like, this has been, I think, for a good part of season 2 as well, this test was my favorite for a really long time. There's just a lot of moving parts in here that flow really well together. Also, the conclusion of this test is pretty wild. But yeah, I'll agree with Danny. This is probably my favorite episode so far.
There's a lot going on in this episode.
Yeah, it's evenly paced. We get at least a good moment with everybody. We even see Yuri show back up this episode for a fun little comedic bit with Evan. Like you were saying, Adam, what you've been wanting for the anime. She kind of teased about what a navigator's job is here. But because it's such a short scene, we're not really going to get any information out of that. Also, man, the music in this episode, I liked it, man. It was pretty good. I was like, oh, we got some more of that Kingdom Hearts bullshit in here. We got some like early 2000s music in here.
Dude, they went all around the board in this episode with the music, man. It was so good, so cool. I'm definitely gonna give it a rewatch later on tonight. But yeah, I said this last week, and I'm gonna say it again, man. I really want an OST for this season. Like, the moment season 1 ends, let me get the OST, dude. Let me just pick it up, because it's good. It's real good.
Yeah, I'm hoping they throw it up on Spotify or something. That'd be nice. I know video games are doing that more. I don't know about the anime scene though. Yeah, I think my favorite track though for the music was when Anak was fighting the Lopobia royal member. That shit was great.
And you know what? I forgot. Like, I knew they fought, but I forgot how like intense it was.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing it in the anime and then reading it, I was like, man, you know what? they did a pretty good job. There were some differences, but the anime did a really, really great job on it.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting the changes they made for the anime. Because he's just spewing out like these giant tentacles to fight, and then in the manhwa it was like, oh, like this is a creation I made. Careful, it's pretty dangerous. And I've noticed that this whole season they've been kind of moving away from the abstract stuff that be thrown up in Tower. Like Andrasi was fighting like early on. She had like those weird disc things,
and she had that little needle too.
Yeah,
and we haven't really seen any of that.
Mm-mm.
I mean, I like seeing her hand to hand, but I mean, she is a fisherman technically, so she should be having some type of needle.
Also, like Andrasi, both Andrasi and Anak, they had the like the inventory thing for their weapons out in the manhwa, but we haven't even seen any of that except for Yuri in the show. I think that's interesting. I think it goes back to what I said, is they might just be saving that stuff to when we really get deep into what really goes on in Tower, which would be in season 2, where they could nonchalantly explain it there. Like subtle stuff like that, I guess, is fine, because we're just gonna get more of that later on for season 2. So I guess it is what it is.
After we did last week's recording, I was thinking about it on my drive back from work, and yeah, there's been a lot of things that were taken out that I don't fully agree with, but it sets up a lot of scenes for season 2. Hoping we do get season 2, which I really want to say we will, because I think Tower season 1 has been doing phenomenal. But a lot of these things are going to be great for season 2, and they do have to show up in season 2. Like one of the things, like the little inventory thing they have, workshop battle, they got to have it in there. I mean, that's a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm.
And everything with Ulrich Mazzino, season 2, he's got a big part in it. I hope we do get season 2, but a lot of it is definitely, it's set up for season 2, which I'm okay that they took it out for season 1 at this point, because the route that they're taking with it, I was really shaky on it, and now since we're nearing the end of season 1, I can honestly say, for the most part, I agree with the changes. I think it does work out for what they're trying to portray, like as their own adaptation for Tower. There's just one scene I'm waiting for now at this point, man, and we're gonna see it probably next week, I would think.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
I thought it was gonna be at the end of I thought it was gonna be at the end of this episode.
I was feeling that too.
No.
I was feeling it too, man. Because there was that scene where Rachel looks back at Bam towards the end of the episode. Yeah,
the build up for their moments are so good. Like, it's just so fucking good. Like, as every single time it panned over to them, you could just see it. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to give too much context in it. I don't want to ruin it for the anime only people. But you can just, the tension is so real, and I can't wait. And I was thinking about it, Danny. The next week's episode is probably going to end off with it.
I was thinking that too, watching this, because it made me think. I'm like, yeah, this is a part 1, and I'm like, there's never really 3 parts for. When it comes to anime titles, right? There's like this fight part 3, not usually, unless it's really big. So I'm guessing, yeah, it's probably gonna happen next episode, and then the final episode, it might just be a slow paced stretch of what's at the end, and maybe even a tease for season 2. Something kind of like what JoJo did in part 1 and 2. They teased the next part in, so maybe they'll do something like that too.
I think that would be a good idea. But, the more I think about the, actual ending of season 1, it does make sense for them to have this scene at the end of the next week's episode. And then there's kind of that recap of season 1, in the last few chapters with some characters and then what's going to happen next. So I think it won't end off on like a cliffhanger, like at least the entire season. But it'll end off on a really, really good note.
Yeah, man, it's going to be real interesting to see how the anime is going to handle the final episode, if the big moment is going to happen next week. That's going to be really interesting.
All I know is I'm ready to see Tower of God trending on Twitter again.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah, man.
I already know, dude. It's what I want is gonna come out, and I just want to see all the anime-only people just be like, "What the fuck?"
No!
Like, no. Like, and I can't wait for my little brother to come in here and be like, dude, why? I'll be like,
Drink your
just read it,
tears.
man. At this point, now you really do have to read it. And that's my ultimate like goal response for Tower. You know, when the anime only people see like what happens, that it'll trigger them to be like, okay, well, I need to know more. And maybe I don't really want to wait, you know. Plus, it is in color, it's not in black and white like most mangas are. So they at least get to see, you know, the pretty Shinsu that kind of comes along in season 2, which there's a lot of it.
And since we're talking about it, man, the Rachel scene, you know, I mentioned it in the earlier episodes, that I wish there was more the anime was doing for Rachel, for her character, before we get to the big build-up. But this episode, I was like, you know what? It's better this way, for sure, to have it all at the end. This big moment with her and Bam going back and forth, having a conversation while the test is going on, which I don't think it's as detailed as it was in the manhwa, right? I don't think they really talked as much as they did there. But I'm not too sure because a lot of the stuff is shuffled around in the show, so that way it fits better. So maybe later down in the chapters that I didn't read yet, they have this dialogue. But I really liked it, man. It's solid stuff. Like, man, that build-up is perfect timing.
It's pretty great.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, you know, it makes. I know I was against the scene last week, but when I thought about last week's episode going into this one, you know, that scene was really important.
Yeah.
It was really, really important, and I'm glad that it's added in there now at this point. You know, because it's just such a contrast. You know, from last week's episode, how Rachel was acting coming into this week, and it's again, the decisions with Rachel, as much as I can't stand her as a character, they actually made me like her as a character, which is crazy because I have been anti-Rachel my whole ass life, man. My whole ass life of reading this series, dude. I've been like, dude, fuck this girl, man.
She's
I
wife
hate
material,
her.
dude.
Dude, no.
Fuck.
No.
Dude,
Yes, but
you
no,
can't-
dude.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, but no. And it was really nice though. But I do have to say this for the episode as a whole. Why have we not got the outfits, dude?
I know, man. Shout out to that guy shout out to the guy who fucking drew
Andrasi.
the outfit that Andrasi did.
Yeah.
After the fucking
Yeah, you know, I don't know what's up with that. Like, it's an anime thing, right? But I don't understand why it's an anime thing, because it's like, oh, we have to use the same outfit, but why? You know, it's not like you're using 3D models and you have to create a new one with the outfit, right? I don't know. That's something I feel like I need to get into, like, just research, like, what's going on with that? Why do we have to keep the same outfit?
Dude, the fits, like Andrasi's fit in this episode, dude. Oh man, I liked
great.
it.
It was great in the manhwa. Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah.
You know, something I want to get back to. We never talked about it, but the way Rachel is designed in the anime, I think it's very interesting how it is, especially with her eyes, right? That's like the biggest difference here. And you know what? I like it. I like it. I hope they stick with that for season 2, even if we get a different art style.
It fits. You know what I mean? It just it encompasses all of her.
Yeah.
Like every time you see her face, it's like you just know there's something else going on. You know what I mean? And then, you know, the way that Bam's eyes are, you know, in contrast, like he's very open, very like accepting of the world and like trying to understand everything that comes across him, you know,
Very
and it's
innocent.
exactly. And we don't, and I mean, you look at Rachel's and she's like, it's like, nah, dude, I just have one thing I want. And I
She's
have
like, you're
to
nice
have
and
it.
all, but I have a mission or something.
Dude, exactly. It's like when I wake up in the morning and I realize there's no more milk, and I have to get that milk, dude. So I mob it to the store and I get that milk. That's the same look I have in my eyes. Like, I don't care who you are, I'm getting my milk. Because milk is good. Drink your milk, guys. Get
Yep.
those gains.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, I'd rather have this than the plain Jane look she has, you know, and that, like, towards the end of season 2.
Rachel's fits, they can stay the same. But everybody else's, they gotta come, man.
Yeah, and it's like what you said, Jerry. It's like the outfits change a lot in season 2. But man, who we're forgetting to talk about? Our boy, man. We're forgetting about Shibisu, dude. Freaking loved him
Dude,
this
he had
episode.
great. Dude, his music, man, was so
Yeah.
good.
So
So good. I mean, there was a couple pieces of dialogue in the manhwa that I wish was translated over into the anime, like where he kicks the bull like in the crotch and is "Ha, you can't have no kids. I kicked you in the balls," and he's like, "Oh wait, you're a female. God damn it, no."
Yeah, it's so fun, man. And I liked the anime version better, especially when he's talking to Kun about why he wants to help Bam, and then he talks about Serena, the girl that leaves, right? I think it was last episode. I think the anime did a really great job handling that scene out.
No, the way they paced this episode was really, really nice.
Yeah, I mean, just aside from the subtle differences, I'm okay with the differences. I think it fits. It honestly fits better with some of the characters, right? So like with Anak and Andrasi, the plan was for them to fight the bull in the manhwa, but in the anime, they're like, actually, we're just gonna do this instead because we want to. We're bored, and I think that works out a lot better for their character development and their relationship that they have with each other.
For sure.
Especially with them ending it off where, Andrasi is right in front of Anak. Because in the manhwa, they haven't really, like, if we're going at it by the chapters that they were, like 6 chapters for each episode, haven't got to that part yet. So ending it off right there, that was really, really nice. Really, really clean move.
Yeah, it's good build up for next episode, for sure. Yeah. And one other thing I really liked about the anime was the introduction when the bull showed up. In the manhwa, he just kind of shows up, but in the anime, he actually kills 2 people, and you see him eating one before he goes to attack the seal or the dolphin, whatever it is. Yeah, I was like, oh, that's a good tone setter for what this episode's gonna feel like.
I mean, it just sets this whole test to a whole nother level, because we had the previous test, and I want to say the most gruesome one before this was probably the initial one, where it's like, hey, you have to have, 200 people left, so you got to kill everybody else. So we haven't really had that kind of morbid feeling to a test in a long while. So for the anime to start it off just like that, like, boom, oh, dude, the bull's killing people, like, he's got one halfway in his mouth. Like, that gives you the idea already. Like, okay, we're not playing anymore. This is time to bring out the big boys.
He was a returning character too, like a returning minor character, and then just killed like that. Just killed off. It makes you really like appreciate the characters that are staying around that have been named. Like, you have a feeling they're gonna come through. Some people are gonna really like make it, and that really sets the tone of the whole tower, because it might be that way for every floor.
Yep,
It's
exactly.
If it's like that, then the second floor, second, third, 10th floor. Why else would it get more peaceful the higher you go?
Exactly. I mean, that's one thing I really want to say the anime's done a great job of portraying as well, is that if you want to climb the tower, like, you're not guaranteed to survive. Not everybody can do it. You gotta have to knock somebody off, someone's gonna knock you off, or you're probably gonna get canned in the middle of a test, and that's it, dude. Game over. No revives, that's for sure.
Yeah, and the start of season 2 really sets that up perfectly with the narration about that specific floor that they're on. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Dude, I just want season 2, man. When this is done, I'm gonna reread season 2.
Yeah. Now, you know what I'm thinking for the teaser? If they do a teaser for season 2, we're gonna see some blonde hair, I think. And we might hear a voice with it. I think that's what I would do if we're gonna tease it.
That would be so good, dude. That would be so good. I've decided, guys. If we do get season 2 anime, when we get introduced to those two characters, I'll tell you off the air. Then I will say my theory.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he does show up in season 2, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, he does. I've got it all figured out. I've got it. I just need to put it down on the whiteboard. I've got it all figured out.
My final favorite part for this episode was definitely the visuals. They did a nice job with all the different coloring that they chose, right, above ground, when they were fighting the bull, and then the scenes with Rachel and Bam. It was all really, really great.
Yeah, I just want to say before we head off into the manhwa for this week, the one thing I really hope that they're going to note, and you may have already said it, Danny, but I just want to emphasize it. As Bam is there with Rachel, waiting for the net to kind of take them up into the mama dolphin, he just kind of notices that he has, feels all this power going through him, and it just, again, it's a recurring theme for Bam, for him to continuously feel like, well, not continuously feel, but just notice that there's power around him that he can use. Yeah, and this is the make it point. This is the big one that's going to come in soon. So I really hope next week's episode that we do get some notice on that.
Yeah, I really hope so, because that's a really big thing. They've teased it off here in the anime. The intro with the administrator, right? Which, man, the sound design in there was great too. Man, that was good stuff. But yeah, it was kind of teased there, and teased in other places. So it has to be brought up, and yeah, maybe next episode is a better place to have it.
I have something I want to say about it, but I'll wait till next week's episode to say it. I have a theory about this, about why that happens to him, but I'll wait till next week to say it.
You know what? Yeah, I think I know what you might bring up. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I never thought about it before, but just with the things going on in the latest chapters of the manhwa, I think I get it. I think this has been like a seed that was planted at this time in Tower's storyline, and now we're just seeing it like blossom, in season 3.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, favorite episode for sure. I'm pretty sure next episode's gonna be my favorite episode.
Dude, next week's episode is all I wanted. I can literally die happy afterwards, because it's just, again, I promise you, we're definitely going to see Tower of God trending next Wednesday morning, easily.
And again, clear commercial cut in the audio here during one of the build-up songs. Because it's like it's so loud and then just nothing as we get to the scene. And I'm like, yeah, clearly that was. We don't have the fade ins and fade outs anymore here, but it's clearly right there for the Japanese broadcast. But all right, man. So with that, I was gonna say it's gonna wrap up the anime section here for this episode. Let's go ahead and get into this manhwa, man. Season 3, episode 65, versus Kallavan, part 6. I thought this was an alright chapter. There's some really good moments in here that I like, and it definitely has me hyped for next week.
There's a lot of build up, a lot of backstory. One thing I will say, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but when Cha comes out and stops the attacks towards Bam, did you notice his Shinsu is very much similar to that color of Bam's? It might be nothing, but I think it might be something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see what you mean.
Again, it could be absolutely nothing, but knowing SIU, when it comes to colors and Shinsu, it means something. It's got to, even very subtly. I mean, if you look at Bam as he's using the bow and arrow, that's all soul power, which is white, just like whites. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Cha's Shinsu, it looks like the black wings Bam gets. It was the Black March, but it looked like that when he had the Black March in his chest. It kind of looked like that. And, we have to remember, Dowan and Cha, they're old, right? These guys they've been around since the, early wars against Jihad.
I think they're older than Jin Sung Ha. They've got to be.
What? How old did Jin Sung say he was? Like 3,000 years old or something, right?
Dude, he's hold on. I'm gonna fact check it.
No, it's like 3,000.
That dude's
right?
old, man.
Oh, excuse me. Jin Sung Ha is 5,000 plus years old. All right, they don't have his age yet on the wiki for Cha. I'm guessing Cha's around the same age. I don't know, man. I don't know. When did all this shit start with Tower? You know, how many thousand? Like, how old is Jihad? But what I was getting at is, I think, yeah, I would say Cha is probably older than Jin Sung. You trying to think there's like a blood relation going on, Adam? Is that what you're theorizing?
With Jin Sung Ha and Cha?
No, Cha and Bam.
Dude, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest with you, because there's still that whole story of his father, V, that we still don't know too much about. And I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, we know that V was part of Jihad's like actual groupie. You know, we got that history back in season 2. And we didn't really get much after that. You know, we know that he was part of his whole band, and that his mom was also there. But then they had their thing. Jihad was pissed. Like, we didn't get much more context from him after the fact. So I wouldn't be surprised.
You know what?
It would make sense.
You know what? Because
in like a Tower kind of way, it would make a lot of sense.
I think it would make sense why he was against Jihad in the beginning, right? Because if he is related to V, there are 10 great families, but they are descendants from the original people that went with Jihad, like you just said, right? But then what about V's descendants? You know, I'm pretty sure he had other family that they left behind that, you know, has their own branch. So technically that would be the 11th family that would get banished. So I'm assuming Jihad would have had that family line just eradicated or something, right? So then maybe Cha's one of those. He's like the ones that survived because he was just strong enough to survive or something.
I mean, and then that whole band, you know, like Cha, Dewan, and then what's his name? He's in this chapter too. Lobik or the other guy? I can't.
Lobrik.
Lobrik, yeah.
No.
Lobrik is
no.
the commander.
It's
Lurk or something. Lurk.
Yeah, it's Lurk, Lutch, something. But they were
Lutch,
all in the
probably.
same group, you know. So who's to say that they're not all a faction against Jihad because of the thing? Like, I mean, we know that they wanted to change Tower, but what if they were, you know, also part of the descendants of the group that went against Jihad back then, you know? And then Cha could be, you know, V's descendant. Dewan, we already know her backstory, you know, but we're still learning about all the other people in this group. And this guy, Lurch, whatever, he looks like he could be part of the Kun family. I could be wrong, but he looks like he's part of the Kun family.
So does he look like Kun or what?
Dude, he has the hair.
I know, it's the eye too.
So it's the eyes, because the hair can change different colors, right? Because as we saw, the one Kun member that Leibero saw back in season 2 in the forest, he has the dark blue hair, right? And it's not the traditional like white or light blue, but they all have blue eyes. I think it's pronounced Liborik.
No, that's the commander.
That's the commander is Lobrik.
The second commander, is
Commander Liborik. I think doesn't Dewan say his name?
Lutch. His name is Lutch.
Lutch. Yeah.
Lutch. Yeah.
It says it in the last chapter.
So they're in the beginning of this chapter too.
Oh, is that where I missed it? Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he's part of the Kun family.
I mean,
it don't matter now because he's dead.
Like at this point in Tower, I feel that because when we were first introduced to Kun, Agrarius Kun, you know, the first one, we find that, and then as we start climbing into the story, there are people of the family that just either were like they left the family or they were what's the word I'm looking for?
Ostracized, banished.
There you go. There you go. But both of those words. Thank you. You know, so they were not part of the family anymore, but they still had the bloodline. So this could very well be another person, you know, in in the Coon line.
Yeah, because you have to think, man, the 10 great families, they've been around for a long time.
There's a reason why they're the 10 great families.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But dude, Danny, tell me why we both called it, bro. Tell me why we both called this last week.
Yeah, with Bam's bow. Yeah, well, I think all they did was just teleport the cage, right?
No, I think it reconstructed everybody back together in the cage.
Well, that too.
Like
Yeah.
Cage,
It's sort of
then,
like
it
tethered out.
Yeah,
it tethered out and grabbed other people. Yeah,
that was cool. I did not expect that when he did that shit. It's just the cage, but like he just brought only the cage back. At least that's what happened. Like the warship blew up along with the cage, and then he shot the arrow, and they just basically brought the cage back with everybody in it, like nothing happened.
Yeah. So the ship blows up. We see the impact. Dewan tries to stop it, and explosions. Bam shoots the arrow. Everything's getting destroyed.
Yeah, so everybody that died in that explosion, he brought back. I just scrolled down.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I got out of it. That was pretty cool. It's not teleportation, is it? Was it teleportation?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Because one of the officers mentions...
Because the cat dude at the end, he's like, oh, he used teleportation. Only a handful of people can do that.
That's crazy. I want to know exactly what he did.
I think it's just the same technique, like we said before.
So he made what? So he made the entire cage just blink during the explosion.
Yeah.
Okay. So remember how I said last week? You remember
how the elder member sent sent Yama to the border or whatever that was. It's kind of like the same thing.
It's the same concept of Kallavan, the purple dude.
But it was wrapped. But
do you remember him in the last arc? And he's in the beginning of this one too.
So he just teleported the cage.
Yeah, just the cage, and I guess the people that were. Yeah.
That's crazy.
I'm sure it'll be explained.
Well,
I mean, you know Gerry, so I don't know.
No, I don't.
No. Yeah. Okay.
No. I hope they explain it later when they all get together again.
Yeah, once things can calm down. Yeah.
Yeah, they can breathe and shit.
Yeah, and man, I gotta say, my two favorite parts out of this chapter was the beginning with Jihad. Right, again, his dialogue is so solid. Like the way SIU's writing him in the past is just so good. I think my favorite panel out of this whole chapter was with our boy Kallavan, as we see everything getting destroyed and blown up. Right, his fellow comrades in this army, and then there's just that lone panel of just him with all of the flashbacks of him meeting all of his friends. Like, it's just so good right here.
Kallavan just took this chapter over, man.
And he didn't even say anything. All he did was yell and power up.
Just look, and then just stare.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? It was that gaze, that one shot of his eye where like everything just exploded.
Yeah, that one too.
And that shit also spoke volumes. Like he's like, oh shit, it's happening.
Okay, but I feel like that arrow saved also Kallavan's people.
I believe it would, knowing Bam, right?
I know, right?
And I feel like that's gonna be the make it or break it point. You know what I mean? Because I mean, right now, just from what we can get from this chapter is that Kallavan is just like, dude, I've already lost it all, and these people are still alive. Like, that's the one thing I said. If you're gonna do this, like, don't fuck it up, dude. You know, like if you're gonna mess up at any point in your life, this is not gonna be that moment, because I will kill all of you. You know, so I feel like that the moment Kallavan realizes that all his people are safe, boom, dude, that's it. That's it, dude. He's like, all right, man. You know what? I'm gonna fucks with you, but I really don't want to kill you anymore.
Yeah, Bam is really like that, though. Oh,
dude, and
no.
Dude, I see. It's because we know Bam still doesn't want to have to go and kill people. You know, he did have to use his power, but he's still making that transition. But clearly, this whole shot was like, no, I want to save everybody here. I think there was more than teleportation going on in this little thing, though. Like,
Yeah, because
clearly we can see that piece of the cage that's like now right in front of him. But I think with the activation of the thorn when he shot the arrow, that also saved those people. That's just my take. I'm pretty sure you guys noticed this though. The thorn activated at the last second before he shot the arrow.
Yeah, hell yeah. He like charged everything. He put everything into that shot because he needed everything, like all of his strength into that, basically.
You know what I really want to see next, though? And I know it's going to happen really soon. We're going to get our Super Saiyan 10 Yama look back, dude. That's what I want to see. I want to see this dude come back with his DeviantArt style, just wrecking people.
Yeah, because we saw as Yasuracha's come into the field soon. So yeah, I'm definitely ready for the dogs. Round 2, it's going to be solid stuff. And yeah, just to go back to the arrow shit that's going on. If you look at the panel with Yama, right as he's pushing back the explosion, we see the tethers of the arrow like surround him. So I'm pretty sure, yeah, Bam tried to save as many people as possible with that one shot. It's gonna be real interesting to see what Kallavan is gonna do next, because now he's in an interesting situation, right? On one side we have Bam, an irregular who's the enemy that saved his comrades, his friends, and on the other side we have his commanding officer who sacrificed them and didn't care what was going to happen because, as you told Kallavan, we already have people stronger than you guys ready to take your spot. So I feel like it's just gonna be interesting. My prediction is that Kallavan might just leave with his comrades, whoever's still alive.
I wouldn't be surprised, man, because you can, over the last few weeks, you can see this buildup of how much he actually cares for these people. When before, like in the last arc and in the last few times we've seen Kallavan, it looks like he just doesn't really care about anybody. You know, but clearly he's got this group of individuals that he's had this life with ever since he left guarding the essence of bravery. You know, ever since he took the essence of bravery with him, he's actually had a life. You know, he's gone through a lot of things with these people. These are his friends. Yeah, so I would not be surprised if that was his decision as well. Jihad's army doesn't give, you know, two rat shits about him. He can go kick rocks for all he cares, you know? I mean, yeah, Kallavan is a fucking monster, but I mean, if it really came down to it, if White at, I don't even want to say full power, I want to say like 80% is doing all this damage, Bam can do some damage, like at the state that he's in. I mean, what can like 3 high rankers do to Kallavan? Probably, you know, have a hard time, you know, but I mean, they just let him roam free. I don't know, man. I think I'm gonna go with you, Danny. I'm gonna go with you on this one, dude.
Yeah, I mean the only other part for it is with Kallavan, he's a by the books kind of guy. So it's a big decision. So that's why I'm kind of hesitant on whether or not he's just gonna ditch the army. But I could see it happening at the same time. It's gonna be interesting to see these next few chapters.
Dude, I just think of that meme, you know? Like chaotic, like what is it? Lawful, chaotic, neutral, like all that stuff. Like that's what I think of Kallavan, man. You know, I just want to point out this really cool comment that is it Masheni-kun? That she said about Bam. That seeing him reminds her of her father. Which, dude, I don't know about you guys. It brought me back to season 2 in the data world where he's training with her father. I was like, dude, yes, bring him back, dude. Because look, all I want at this point, like once I saw this, it gave me a new vision. I wanted to see like the real Kun's father, and then Bam be face to face and be like, oh, dude, I met you in the data world. It's all, yo, huh? Yeah, that's all I want. That's what I want right now, man. This was a good chapter, though.
Yeah, man. So I think overall it's a good chapter. It's not a hype chapter, but it's definitely something we needed in this arc, and I cannot wait to see what happens with pretty much everybody next chapter. I feel like next chapter is gonna be like starting basically the next step for this arc.
I could do, because now at this point everybody's there. They're all in the same spot. It's like Smash Ultimate. Everybody's here.
So, all right, I think with that, it's safe to say we can wrap up this episode. Thanks for listening, guys. You can send us an email at unversedpodcast@gmail.com. If you have any questions or comments, we'd love to hear it. We'll talk about it in the next episode, of course. You can follow us on social media at unversedpodcast. Let you know when the latest episode drops for all that good stuff. So again, thanks for listening. SIU, hope you're doing better, man.
Yeah, man. Feel good.
And we're going to catch you on the next episode.